to me.
Information, news, and entertainment on demand.
WSRadio.com.
Accomplishment Coaching is proud to present the following fine programming. Accomplishment Coaching, where coaches lead and leaders coach. AccomplishmentCoaching.com.
Welcome to WS Radio's Business Spotlight Show.
Thanks for tuning in. I'm Wade Taylor. And on today's show, we're shining our spotlight on the world of small business, the world of entrepreneurs, with a strong focus on those professionals that have a license, doctors, lawyers, even plumbers and such, that could be working for somebody, but they've got the entrepreneurial bug and they want to see about doing things on their own. And fortunately, we've got a great guest that's been helping small businesses be successful for decades. We're speaking with Aaron Scott Young, who's an entrepreneur and business advisor. Aaron's built several companies worth millions of dollars and has overcome bankruptcies and other obstacles himself, so he knows that the path isn't always smooth. Now, one of his companies, Laughlin Associates, helps businesses form LLCs. This has allowed him a detailed look into many businesses, providing him insights which he shares in the world through a philosophy strategy he calls the Unshackled Owner, in which your business works for you instead of it controlling you. We're in turbulent times these days, but business must carry on, and in good times or bad, fundamentals remain constant. So, Aaron, let's start talking about fundamentals. What things do you want us to keep in the forefront of our mind?
Well, Wade, first of all, thanks for having me on the program. Forefront of your mind, let's start there. First thing is, so many people start a business, they go into business, hang out their shingle, because they feel something in their chest they just need to get out. And sometimes it's a great idea, and sometimes it's just something that matters to them, and the rest of the world doesn't give a darn about it. So I see one of the biggest mistakes fledgling entrepreneurs make is they're trying to do something they want to do instead of something the market wants.
Right.
And the people that succeed over time are the ones who continue to deliver to the market, even if it's a very narrow slice of the market. They continue to deliver relevant products and services instead of trying to force feed a market something that they are excited about, but really nobody else wants to buy.
Yeah, and
so that's the fundamental piece.
Yeah, and it's part of the mind shift that they have to go from an employee mindset to an entrepreneurial mindset, where in the employee mindset, you're really not thinking about the market. But for the entrepreneur, customer has to be top of mind, right?
Yeah, customer for sure, and prospective customer. In other words, if you're not, we're in a moment right now in history where if you don't rethink what you're doing for most industries, if you don't rethink your messaging, you're not relevant to the listener. Something that worked 2 months ago may not be playing, maybe translating to people right now because their felt needs have shifted during the COVID-19 and shelter in place. All of a sudden, things that were nobody thought about, like toilet paper, have become the holy grail. And other things that were like, hey, let's grow, let's do real estate, let's do this, that, or the other. Everybody's going, well, I don't know if this is a good time for any of that. So if you don't learn how to adjust to what the market wants, you may have success for a moment, but you will never be able to recreate it over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, and be prepared to be constantly adjusting to the market because we do not live in a static world. But again, that's part of the mindset shift from being an employee to an entrepreneur. And as I understand, you like for people to truly reset their mind in terms of how they view what's important, something I heard somebody say, and heck, it could have been you because I've picked up on some of the things that you've said, but they go, you should be living in poverty for the year prior to launching your business rather than falling into a world of poverty after you launch your business. So can you talk to us about the mindset of, your own consumption, your own lifestyle as you've got a new baby in the house called your business?
Called your company, yeah. Okay. So somebody leaves a job or they start a business from wherever they started. And, usually at first money's tight because you're trying to figure out marketing and sales and products, delivery and so on. And then they start to get their legs under them and they go, oh, I'm making a little money or I'm making a little more money. I can move into a nicer apartment, a nicer home, get a different car, buy something discretionary like a watch or something expensive. And they start to consume the new money. And then that works fine for a while until you get to the point where you're starting to be overloaded. Now you're working 6 days a week, 10-hour days, and maybe your spouse is saying, hey, I need to see you a little bit more often, or you've got other responsibilities. At some point, you max out your own personal time, and you need to bring somebody else on to help you. But the problem with somebody who consumes all the earnings in improving their life is that to bring a new person on, they have to pay them somehow, which means the founder is taking less money. And they are fearful of that because they don't want their lifestyle to go backward and they don't want to make a mistake in who they hired. And so a lot of people hit that mode where it's like, it's time to add, but I'm unwilling to do it. And they just get stuck there. Compare that with a great example is Mark Cuban, who's a multi-billionaire. And he said, when I first started my business, I had to invest everything I had in the business. So I couldn't even buy a McDonald's hamburger. I would go to McDonald's and grab the ketchup packages and squeeze them into my mouth to have something to eat. And I was couch surfing because I wasn't going to pay rent during that time. So yeah, a successful entrepreneur will live low at the beginning, invest the majority of the earnings into software, human resources, or whatever you need. And then once you've started to get momentum, then they can start to nudge up their personal income. If you're willing to live, and this is something I've heard a lot from others, live now like no one else is willing to, so that someday you can live like those other people can't.
Right.
And I'll tell you, during the '08 recession, we it took a little while for it to catch up with our company, but when it finally did, it was like somebody just turned off the spigot and millions of dollars in revenue just, disappeared. Not over a long time, like just all of a sudden, like they turned off the hose. Well, my business partner and I, we really looked at that and we said, we're the highest paid people in the company. Rather than cutting a bunch of employees whom we very much need, let's take an 80% pay cut ourselves. And, we ended up having to both of us ended up short selling our homes and moving into rentals. Both of us did. But we didn't fire any of our people. And about 2 years after we made that shift, or 18 months after we'd made that significant pay cut for the two of us, rather than 40 employees, the market started to come back. And, we had the whole team together. And we came back with a vengeance. And now he and I both make significantly more money than we were making in '07. But I'm positive it's because we chose to feed the golden goose instead of kill the golden goose and eat one meal.
Right.
We decided to keep the goose that lays the golden eggs, and we took a hit for a little while. Live like you don't want to for a while, so that eventually you can live like nobody else can.
Right. And once you accept that what car you drive is purely experience, where truly keeping your business running is what's going to generate the value, definitely want to acknowledge that. And just a quick aside, it's so absurd. You're talking about the people that are spending the revenue as soon as it comes in instead of providing a cushion. And we run across the people that are spending the revenue even before it's come in. And all
Oh, on
they're doing
credit.
and they're just digging themselves a hole. So great advice about mindset. Again, I think that's an important thing for somebody to take into a new venture like this. One of the tools that we can use as we're structuring a new life around entrepreneurism rather than simply being an employee is the business model we're setting up. And one of the areas that you have expertise in is LLCs. So can you talk to us a little bit about how important it is once you have the mindset to have a proper foundation for your business to grow on?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I want to expand even a little bit more on what you asked. So there are three primary business entities: C Corporation, S Corporation, Limited Liability Company, LLC. And those are as different as, let's say, a Prius, a school bus, and a dump truck, right?
Right.
If you have a specific job to do, if you need to move 7 yards of rock, you're not going to put it in the back hatchback of your Prius, right? You're not going to try to dump it through the windows of the school bus. You're going to put it in a dump truck. If you want to drive long distances and save money on gas, you're going to jump in the Prius. If you have to move 30 kids, you're going to not put them in the bed of the dump truck. You're going to put them on the school bus. And the point is you want to use the right tool for the job. I love the old saying that when you're a hammer, everything looks like a nail. Well, the fact is, to actually build something substantive, you have to use all the right tools.
Right.
So if you're going to own real estate and hold real estate, an LLC is an excellent entity to use. If you're going to if you and I are going to go into business together and we're just going to grow a company, we're not going to bring in outside investors or anything, well, we'd probably use an LLC. If my spouse and I are going to set up a company, we're probably going to set up an S corporation. And if my intention is to go public or be acquired by a public company or need a unique fiscal year end, I'm going to use a C corporation.
Right.
There's reasons to use each one. The main thing is begin with the end in mind. What is it you want from this project called the business? And which one of these entities provides you the asset protection and the tax treatment and a variety of other things we don't have time to go into that will actually get you most quickly to what you want.
Right.
Because otherwise you'll end up retooling along the way.
And as we're kind of thinking in this specific interview, that doctor, lawyer, plumber, somebody that has a skill that they want to turn into a business, oftentimes they'll want to form a partnership, right? Bring in somebody to, be the co-owner, and it sounds like an LLC is a perfect entity to encompass that partnership they're spinning up.
Yes, for a doctor, a lawyer, CPA, it's probably going to be a professional corporation is probably what it's going to be. But for most people, you bring people with talents and resources together, and everybody brings their own disparate piece of value. And that's what LLCs were designed for. LLCs are a replacement for general partnerships. General partnerships are out, LLCs are in. But if I own a company by myself, an LLC is not a good tool.
Right.
An LLC is designed for 2 or more people, and the 2 people are not married, because married couples are treated as one member. And a one-member LLC is disregarded. So there's just knowing enough to ask good questions will help people make very wise choices as they move through the process of establishing the company.
Well, I'm sure there are some great resources for starting to learn enough. And I should have mentioned at the start, you can learn about all the amazing things that Aaron is doing at AaronScottYoung.com, AaronScottYoung.com. But Aaron, I'm sure Laughlin has a website. Is there a specific place you'd like to direct people's attention if they really want to get into understanding LLCs?
Well, if you go to LaughlinUSA.com, Laughlin, LaughlinUSA.com, it's right on the homepage. It says start a business or start a new entity, and you
Perfect.
click on it, and then it'll start guiding you. And of course, we're open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday, West Pacific time, and consulting is always free. If somebody wants to not just have to be dealing with the computer, if you want to talk to somebody, and our senior consultants have worked with minimum 10,000 clients. So they've heard everybody's story, everybody's idea, and they'll help you custom make a solution rather than just try to do a one-size-fits-all that you often get online.
In this world of social distancing, we can still do phone calls. And
Absolutely.
and as I understand, you do help people across the United States.
We're in all 50 states, and we have tons, thousands of foreign clients who are owning property or companies here in the United States. We have almost 50,000 active clients right now, and so and many of them have multiple entities. So we help manage hundreds of thousands of companies.
Yeah, that's how you build a multi-million-dollar business. So very good. We've got a little bit better understanding of the mindset of your focus needs to be about building your business, not on your personal luxuries, your material possessions. An LLC can be a great tool if I'm looking at doing a partnership. But also in this entrepreneurial mindset, like you said earlier, you have to have the end in mind. And you have to understand that you're going to have to grow and scale your business. Even if it's only going to be maybe 10, 20 people in the business, you need to scale up for that. And in that process, one of the first challenges entrepreneurs have is delegating duties. But then as you grow, you also have to start delegating decision making. So can you talk to us a little bit about team building, recognizing your own strengths and weaknesses, and what things you should have in mind as you grow that company?
So as you always start any project in your imagination. Every building that's ever been built, any ship, any army, anything that's been built started in your mind, then went to paper or maybe a computer, and then became manifest in reality. And so first thing you want to do is say, why am I doing this? What is the outcome I want for the business? And you get that in your mind, you get it on paper in the form of a vision or a business plan or whatever you want to call it. And then you start to go, okay, if I'm going to get there, if I'm here and I want to go there, what is the shortest route that I can imagine? And what you start to do is say, okay, I'm going to go, I'm here, I want to go there. Here's what I'm good at and here's what I suck at, right? For me, Aaron, I'm terrible at accounting. I'm terrible at information technology stuff. Like computers, they're just the biggest mystery to me. But you can surround yourself with people who play at things that you have to work at. And so I should focus on what I'm great at and get one person, 2 people, 10 people who are way better at their skill set than I am. A lot of entrepreneurs are afraid of that because they say, if I hire somebody smarter than me, they may try to take my idea and run with it. Well, here's what I'll tell you. Somebody who's great at accounting doesn't want to be the entrepreneur, doesn't want to be the visionary. Somebody who's great at sales may think they want to do it, but they have no idea how to go out and get leads, and they have no idea how to fulfill. So you may be afraid that they're going to take your spot. 99% of the time, they're not, because they're gifted, but they need to follow a leader who sees a big vision. So quit being afraid that you're going to lose something and begin surrounding yourself with people smarter than you. The best way to do it is to get really clear on what are you great at and where are you weak, and then build a forward-looking organizational chart, not historic, forward-looking. I'm going to start a baseball team. I need a pitcher, a catcher, first, second, third baseman, a shortstop, fielders. I need all that. Put it up on paper, and you don't have to have filled it in yet, but you say, okay, here's me. I'm the captain. I'm going to hire a pitcher first. Okay, now what else do we need? Well, if we have a pitcher, we better get a catcher next. And that organizational chart will be your guide to filling in what you need to get to your outcome in a logical way. And the other thing I'll say on that point is You need to hire people based on outcomes, not based on just a task or a job title. You don't hire someone for sales. You say, I need to sell this particular product at this price, at this volume. How will you help me accomplish that outcome? And when you do that, people know exactly why they've been hired and what their assignment is, and then you can help build fertile soil for them to be successful. If you just say, I am clueless on how to do it, I'm going to hire somebody that I can't give any direction to because I'm clueless, then you can bet that person's going to grope around in the dark room that you've given them, and you're going to end up getting angry because they're not magically producing the results you couldn't produce. It just doesn't work. So get clear on what you need, get clear on what you want, hire people to achieve specific outcomes, not to just do a task.
Okay. We've got about 3 minutes left, so I'm going to tie two concepts together that I'd like to pose to you. One is, like you're talking about, clarity and focus. And as an entrepreneur, you need to get some space sometimes to have the clarity and focus. And also recognizing the value of quality in the tool sets you're using. So what I'm going to tie that together is, I understand that you like to spend, I would imagine, as much time as possible on horseback, a little bit away from everybody, a little bit out there on your own where it's all about you and what you brought to the table. So can you talk to us a little bit about how getting on horseback in a way gives you some space to think, as well as how it heightens your awareness of picking the right quality tools?
Wow, good question. So in my particular, and that horse stuff is my golf, or that's my hobby, and I love being horseback. So, in my case, we go into the backwoods, and we often go overnight or for multiple nights. We'll go for 100 miles, 200 miles. We're not riding in an arena or hunter jumper or whatever. So when you go into the woods, you want to always have your 10 essentials. What are the most critical things that I need to have with me so that I can both be comfortable, I can take care of problems, I can take care of myself if things don't go to plan and I need to survive for a period of time. And then when you start to get your 10 essentials, you don't necessarily want to get the cheapest knife, the cheapest, solar blanket, the cheapest, whatever, fill in the blanks, whistle or first aid kit. You want to have quality items that are not just checking a box, but that if you actually have to use them, they will do the job and they will take care of you. They'll save your life. In our business, we have to do the same thing. We've got to figure out what's important, and whether it's human resources, hire the best people you can afford. Real estate, get the best location you can. Marketing, really dial in your marketing and know how to measure those statistics that are coming in. You want to get high quality everything and get rid of all the superfluous, because Steve Jobs said famously the thing he was most proud of in his career was everything he said no to. And when you learn how to know, here's where I'm going, here's how I'm going to get there in my entity, here's the stuff that matters that's in my saddlebags, and now I'm off on the journey, and I'm going to ignore that little trail that goes off to the right. I'm going to ignore that elk that just ran over there that I'm going to go chase through the woods, because it takes me off of the path. And if we have the right gear, if we have the right vehicle, if we know where we're going, we don't grope around in the forest. We go on the fastest pace, the most direct route, the least amount of energy, the most amount of profit from where we were to where we wanted to be. That's a great question you asked me, because the horse analogy is a good one. We want to make sure that we have what we need and we ignore all the stuff that we don't, and we surround ourselves with great tools, whether it's humans, software, processes, plans, and so on. Make the right choice. It'll get you there safely.
And Aaron is a great tool for you to learn from. So check him out at aaronscottyoung.com. Back next time here on the Business Spotlight Show, powered by WSRadio.com.
If you heard that sound, you probably are eligible for insurance from Navy Mutual, insuring the men and women of the Navy, Marines, and Coast Guard. Here's what one policyholder, retired Navy Commander Thomas Dade, had to say.
Navy Mutual is the best insurance decision I ever made. I wish you had a savings plan available that earned the rates my Navy Mutual insurance has been earning.
Navy Mutual Aid Association, started by military members in 1879, serves active, reserve, and retired military today. Navy Mutual honors our military by providing them affordable life insurance with the features they need without fine print, sales fees, or military service restrictions. Value, integrity, trust, and stability are the cornerstones on which our commitment to you and your loved ones are built. Call Navy Mutual at 1-800-628-6011 or NavyMutual.org for your personal life insurance plan consultation. 1-800-628-6011 or NavyMutual.org. Navy Mutual, insuring those who serve.
On the internet, your business's reputation can be unjustly destroyed in an instant. Don't wait for that to happen. Building and marketing your 5-star reputation can increase your business by as much as 19%. Take control of your reputation and have the 5-star reputation you deserve with Reputation Marketing Solutions by DSI Development. Become the go-to company by visiting 5starrepmarketing.com. The number 5starrepmarketing.com.
One person has the power to change the world, impact millions of lives, and leave a legacy for lifetimes to come. That person is you. In the New York Times bestseller, What is Your What? Steve Olsher, award-winning author and founder of the Reinvention Workshop, reveals his proven process that has helped thousands of men and women discover, share, and monetize the one thing they were born to do. Grab your free copy now at www.whatisyourwhat.com/free. That's www.whatisyourwhat.com/free.
Take a break from politics. Tune in and learn something. WS Radio shows are worth your time and are filled with tips and advice. Add us to your lunch routine and we'll give you a meal for your mind.
Tired of presentations with no impact, no inspiration, and no traction? Do dull speakers have you and your team disengaged and distracted by smartphones? Christopher McAuliffe brings energy, insights, and 2 decades of experience, delivered with punch, humor, and heart. Your team will leave energized, uplifted, and with a sense of purpose. Visit ChristopherMcAuliffe.com to bring some heat to your next speaking engagement. McAuliffe. ChristopherMcAuliffe.com.